Hello again, and for today, I'm going to be diving back into some more self-improvement commentary. This one is something I haven't been practicing myself just yet. However, I am going to keep going with it once this commentary is over, because this is going to be one of my kind of many plans that I have for just basic self-improvement that I could be doing while I'm at home. This one is about utilizing your brain, regardless of what is going on. You should be utilizing your brain at all times. You know, your brain is your best tool in this modern world. You know, it's sometimes better than your phone because your phone may save everything perfectly. However, your brain will save those key moments in your life that, you know, much like an Inside Out, or things that shape your life. And so if you feed it information, it will only continue to grow and get better. So regardless of the world events, it is important to not be low IQ with your daily habits. You know, especially if you have free time, you should be using free time to do better by yourself. I mean, this is what I think I've been doing ever since I started this channel, is using the free time that I have to be making these videos in order to not only get myself an audience, but to improve the quality of my content. You know, the more I keep doing this, the more I keep doing this, the better this content gets. So, just always know that going forward, that this is constantly just going to be a self-improving channel that will get better over time. And regardless of whatever's going on, I am constantly trying to make this channel better, more informative, more entertaining, adding more onto it so that it's not just another one of these low subscriber count channels that just gets disappeared into the wind. So, as far as what you can do to sculpt these brain muscles, I would say the big thing that you can do just right away is read. And on a more specific note, I would say read whatever interests or improves you. And this is really specific because in all the downtime that we have right now, what you should be doing is improving what you like to do. Making, for example, for me, it's like making my content better. But for you, it could be like learning more about hobbies you already like. It could be reading interesting stories that inspire you to do something. It could be looking at data and learning about shit that you never even knew before. For me, that might mean I have to fucking read the bell curve again, but I think it would be worth it, especially with all the downtime that we have right now. We're basically forced to be stuck indoors and suffer the consequences of our consumerist choices by entertaining ourselves with what we already have. And for me, I have more than enough, so I'm going to be going through as much of it as I possibly can, because it's just been sitting around me forever, and I might as well get into the stuff that I haven't looked at already because I was in college, or I didn't really care in school or whatever, or, just getting it done, getting it over with, much like all of the commentaries that are coming up. So what you should be doing with all of that reading that either interests or improves you is to understand your sources of info and to understand the knowledge that is gained from the material. And the first point really goes into lots of articles, lots of studies, research, and, books that are factually sourced rather than based on fiction. This is the kind of stuff that you got to make sure you're feeding yourself good information, because otherwise you're just, gargling down CNN propaganda, fucking filling your brain with globalist entertainment, like the Netflix shit I was talking about yesterday. Like, this is the kind of stuff that you should be aware of. Be aware of what you are feeding your brain, because that kind of stuff is the equivalent of junk food. It is the equivalent of candy. It is the stuff that is not feeding you with good information. It is just feeding you with nonsense, with things that rot your brain. So in order to understand your sources of info, what you need to do is constantly check. And if not constantly, I would say you should just check if you find something that you know already ahead of time is complete garbage, is complete bullshit, is just a complete fabrication, and then go look into that one thing. And then if you see that one thing, then try just literally whatever the most recent article, data point, study, just make sure that that one is also correct based on the evidence presented. And if you could do this multiple times, I would say get rid of whatever that is, because that right there is a bad source of information. Now, it's different with fiction because, you're obviously reading something that someone made up. But if it doesn't really impact you in a way that is positive or inspiring or genuinely filling you with good emotions, then why consume it? Why watch SJW cringe compilations if they make you fucking mad? It's not good material to be absorbing. And so get rid of it because it's not helpful. And on the second point of understanding the knowledge gained from whatever you're reading, essentially you should be looking at what the moral of the story is, what is the lesson learned from the story, or what, in case of data, what is the actual conclusion? Does it validate anything you believe? Does it conflict with anything you believe? And in doing this, you will understand that, this is not helping me, I guess. This is not doing me any favors to be, again, consuming. So I guess this was just some time wasted, and then just, go try to do something else. I would also say this with all forms of media, obviously, like, look into who did this, who made this on a creative level, who made this on a producer level, because sometimes the producers make the creative decisions and the director is totally not involved with it, or the screenwriter, especially a fucking screenwriter. I mean, once like a film, for example, goes from script to screen, there is a lot of production work that is done that could be different from the original source material, which is the script. So, if it's an adaptation, that goes double for whatever it's based on, which is like I was talking about with The Witcher, where it's just like, this is clearly some corporate agenda pushing shit. So, when I can get to a bookstore, I will go out and buy whatever the books of the Witcher series that the show is based on. So that way I am understanding what the actual material is supposed to be, and not just confirming my preconceived biases based on what I know on Netflix. So again, that's the kind of brain muscles that you should just be flexing all the time. And I'm going to get to a video games commentary that I'll be writing down after I record this commentary, because I don't really know what to say when it comes to video games, other than, if it's affecting your cognitive abilities positively, like if you can do stuff better as a result of, just doing some controls and making the character do stuff that you should probably be doing with your own physical body, then I would say that'd probably be a good improvement. Obviously, exercise is important in this time of being locked in our homes. I would say being fit overall is great, but you know what I don't see a lot of these gym rats and kind of buff bros doing is sculpting these fucking brain muscles. They spend so much time on their appearance that they forget that they need to sculpt the brain. The brain is going to inform them on why these muscles are being affected in the way they are and why it's a good thing. So, in conclusion, this is all I have to say on the subject as far as sculpting your brain muscles. The kind of entertainment that I consume, the news media that I consume, I always try to make positive. And if it's like an intentionally bad thing, like I love bad movies, I try to learn A, what was bad about that movie, and B, why I find it so funny. And that is what, I end up learning in order to sculpt my brain muscles from that experience. So I think I'm going to just wrap this up by saying if you're going to choose to spend all this time, and again, I had this commentary way before any of this shit happened, but if you're going to choose to spend your time at all in life withering away and feeding yourself brain level junk food, you better tread lightly, because this is the stuff that will lower your IQ forever.